Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is John O'Orm, and I will be the MC for the evening. Thank you, Sydney. I'm the brother-in-law and a longtime friend of both Caitlyn and Jeremy. And on behalf of Caitlyn and Jeremy, I just want to, and the families, I want to welcome all of you and thank you for being here to celebrate the two lovely people over there. It's so finally nice to be together from all this craziness the last 3 years. Which, in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing to compare to what Caitlyn's had to deal with, probably with the craziness of Jeremy and all of his frisbee for the last 8 years. And, you know, he finally asked her to marry him 2 years ago, and that day was beautiful 2 years ago. And in all seriousness, I've known Caitlyn for over 15 years, and I cannot think of a better person for you, Caitlyn. Jeremy is wonderful in all ways. You both look incredible. Yeah, you're welcome. And just take a moment right now, just right now for a couple seconds, just take it in right now. Look across the room, look at everyone who's joined you here tonight. We all love you. That's right. The crowd here is nice. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start with some speeches. And to break the ice for tonight, I would love to welcome the bride's siblings. I would love to welcome up Tyler and my wife Ashley to the mic.
Okay, good evening, everyone. So as Jono just mentioned, I'm Tyler, and this is my sister Ashley. We are both the younger siblings of Caitlyn. Just for some context, if you're around the small bubble of our family, you might hear us referring to Caitlyn as Kiki. Now, this is a nickname which she brought upon herself, and it might sound endearing. She wasn't able to pronounce Caitlyn as a child, so this was the nickname that she brought upon herself. This sounds really cute, and just it's a development of the developing mind of the child. But she only was able to overcome this up a couple years ago. So we're all proud of you for that. So anyways. We're all very excited that this day has finally come. As you've heard a couple times now, they've been engaged for a really long time. In fact, if you know Caitlyn and you're close to her, you might know that she started a countdown in her office the day, like a couple days after they got engaged. That sounds really sweet again, right? Very endearing. No, that was over 720 days ago. That is truly insane that she did that. That's torture at that point. So as I mentioned already, she's the older sibling to both Ashley and I. And she, as a kid, she really took that immediately as a 4-year-old and abused the power. We're kind of thankful for the countdown. It was a help in also being a countdown for us and Caitlyn officially becoming Jer's problem to deal with. If you want to find me after the speeches, I can show you some pictures of Caitlyn physically manhandling Ashley and I before she was old enough to do so. So in all seriousness, though, I'll wrap my part up by taking this opportunity to say one more thing, and that is a very heartfelt welcome to Jeremy. As a new brother-in-law, I've been lucky as a brother of two sisters to have two incredible men to call my brothers-in-law. First of all, Jono, he's the MC tonight, and now Jeremy. Whenever someone in the past would ask me what some of my favorite experiences or days have been, it's been easy for me to point to Ashley's wedding as one of my favorite days, and I'm truly and genuinely thankful that you invited me today to be a groomsman, and this is really special to me, and I can confidently say that this is another one of those special memories that I can look back on. So, cheers, Jer. Yeah.
So we've been teasing to have some fun and get a few laughs, but Caitlyn, we want you to know that we've been, the things that we've been teasing you about are the same things that make you such a beautiful person. We always poke fun at how long it has taken you to get here. It's been sort of a theme of the day. But your incredibly long countdown just shows all of us how much excitement you've had for this day. We know that you spent so much time poring over the details of today to make sure that everything was right, to create a perfect celebration of your love and your journey together. It really has been a beautiful day for a beautiful couple. The way you quite literally handled becoming a big sister and your early maternal instincts demonstrated the way that you love and care for those that are close to you. You may not show it in the same way anymore, thank goodness, but these instincts have manifested in your thoughtfulness and your kind heart. So we toast to our beautiful sister, Kiki, to honor her on her wedding day and in memory of the years that we've spent together. Our hearts are overflowing with pride, and the memories of all that we shared will tie us together always, even as we create families of our own, across miles and in spite of the busyness of our lives that keep us from being together as much as we'd really like to be. We love you dearly, big sister, and we're so happy for you on this most special day. And to our new brother, Jer, although you've been part of this family for years, it brings us such joy to be able to officially welcome you to the family. We know that you will love our sister well, and you bring out the best in her. You complement her personality in a way that nobody else could. You are driven to succeed and to meet your goals. We all know that about Jer. And we know that you will pour that same energy into your marriage and the family that you create together, like you do with anything else that is so meaningful to you and important to you. And to you both, may you always choose to love one another, even in the moments when it seems difficult to like each other. May you always put one another first, above everything and everyone else. And may you always be quick to forgive and slow to anger. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please raise your glasses for the first of many toasts.
Here's to the future and for all that you look forward to together, to bride and groom, Mr. and Mrs. Hill.
Thank you, Tyler and Ashley. We're going to keep going. We're just going to keep rolling on those speeches while you are still eating that first main course. I have the privilege of introducing the wonderful and beautiful Sydney Hill, the best lady of Jeremy Hill. Sydney?
Well, this wouldn't be my speech if I didn't make my brother do something he didn't want to do before I started it. So there's a Swedish berry shot coming your way right now. We're doing it together, don't worry. Okay, now that that's out of the way. So there comes a time in everyone's life when they meet their best friend, the person that they know and the person that's going to know them and love them for the rest of their life, and someone that will support them endlessly. That moment came for Jeremy 24 years ago when I came out of the womb. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Jeremy's youngest sister, Sydney, and today I got the honor of standing next to him as his best man. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for being here today. I know that all of us have been waiting a very long time for this day. This is actually the first family wedding that I've been to since my cousins got married, and Jeremy decided to dye his hair blue for that wedding. That was also the last time Jeremy gave himself his very own haircut in the middle of the night because the blue dye was itchy. I'm very happy your hair is in blue today. I'm so thankful to be able to stand up here today in front of all of you, in front of truly one of the happiest, healthiest, most in-love couples I've ever met. Caitlyn, you look absolutely breathtaking. And Jer, you look so handsome, but only because you're standing next to Caitlyn, of course. When I asked my parents years ago why they gave us the names they did, my mom told me it was because she didn't want them to be shortened, so she didn't want us to have nicknames. Raise your voice really, really, really loud if you have ever called my brother Jer. Mom, Dad, no one is safe in this speech. Most of you know, I'm sure, that today Jer and I are quite different people, but a lot of our foundation and friendship as siblings came from our shared interests and love of sports and our memories from our younger days. Our differences, however, have always remained. He was the little kid scooting down our street on his green scooter, too fast for my dad to catch him, and I was locking boys in the bathroom at school. He was the proud winner of Best Scar Award after he made me a little too mad the night before grade 4 picture day. And I was grounded. At my age, he moved out of the house with his now wife, Caitlyn, and they got a puppy together. I immediately turned his room into the guest room. He tore his ACL. I tore my ACL. Twice. These differences continued into our adult years. I'm the music lover, and Jer will rap the same verse of Smack That by Akon until he dies. He got the perfect 20/20 vision, but I never had to have braces. He got the Casey look, and I got whatever the Hills have. I'm the party animal, and he's the better athlete, I guess, but I'll never say it again. As your best man today, I guess I'm inclined to say a few nice words as well. If Mom and Dad didn't bring us around the world for travel, I always had you to follow across the globe cheering you on, and I'll never stop doing that. Lots of my success in anything I tried as a child came from watching you do it first. And I learned how to stick up for myself because I had years of practicing it to you. A few things to thank you for. Thank you for always wrapping me in tinsel every Christmas morning for photos that will last a lifetime. Thank you for reading positive life quotes to me in my room in the 9th grade after my first boyfriend dumped me and making me realize that the world was truly not going to end. Thank you for leaving home for university because I feel like it made us closer. Shout out to Brock, that's why we're here today. Thank you for inviting me to that Christmas party one time in college so that we could play our one and only game of beer pong together. Thank you for letting me be an aunt to the 2 sweetest dogs in the world, even though they terrorize my poor little ocean. And thank you for having just as competitive of a spirit as I do, making every game, except Monopoly, very fun. And thank you for marrying such a beautiful and wonderful woman, Caitlyn, and giving me the sister I never had. I love you, Caitlyn. I truly knew Caitlyn was the one when she yelled, "You're being so annoying right now," during cousin game night one time to Jer. Caitlyn, thank you for learning to love the soft, melted piece of butter next to you that is my brother. I'm not entirely sure how you do it, but I guess it's worked. Thank you for also taking him back after you dumped him. I can only imagine how long those text messages were from him. I'm happy Jer, see, nickname, chose someone that is such an incredible baker. It's a real big plus for the whole family. I always wanted a sibling that wouldn't pick on me for life, and now I've officially got one. With all of that said, Jer, if there was just one thing I could have asked from more of you, it just would have been to pick me up from some more parties in high school. Please join me in congratulating the happy couple and wishing them endless years of love, happiness, success, and watching Jeremy play Frisbee. I love you guys.
Now I'm going to introduce the bride's parents, Steve and Jody Rousel.
So as Jono said, Steve, Jody, father, mother of the bride, very proud and happy parents today. The first thing I want to do is just thank everybody who has made such a tremendous effort to get here. We've got people who've joined us from all across Canada to a certain degree, There's two things that we're here to celebrate. For obviously it's Caitlyn and Jer, but the second thing is that I actually fit back into my suit after a couple of years, and I want to give a shout out. It took a lot of work, and as you can tell, maybe it should take a little bit more. So I want to give a shout out to my trainer from. Okay, it's not my trainer, it's my tailor. They found 3 inches in my pants that just added to the waistline. You can take that a number of ways, but it was actually, there you go. So, also want to acknowledge old friends, Breakles, and old family, Uncle Charlie, obviously. What? Sorry, not old. Long time friends, the Breakles. Long time haven't seen Uncle Bill, Uncle Charlie. So. There you go. So Jared, this is one of the things that you're going to have to get used to. Being corrected. This is just an example of how things will be from now on. Okay. So, back to those who've come. We got Mel and Pat from Edmonton, my family from the Niagara region, Uncle Bill from Nova Scotia, Uncle Charlie here from the Ottawa area, Joe's parents from Walkerton, and the Orangeville crew. Cheers.
And the Milton.
Oh, Vanessa, yes, I have you down here, Vanessa from Milton, yes. Love you. So anyway, thank you. You've honored us for, the effort and the cost to get here. It's amazing. We feel blessed. So, here we go. Caitlyn came into our life December 20th, 1995. I had to be careful with that because I got it wrong at my first daughter's wedding. I got her birthday wrong, but this time I was sure. So she was due on Christmas Day. That year, but Dr. Sabka decided he didn't want to work on Christmas Day, so we expedited the process, and she was born on the 20th. She after the 20th, she cried for 2 years, being colic, and I think she really wanted to be a Christmas baby, and it took her 2 years to get over it. So. That's lesson 1, Jeremy. Don't piss her off. It takes her a while to recover. Okay? Take note. Caitlyn was an independent personality, very helpful with Mom, and there's a common theme. My kids and my speech were done separately, but there's a common theme you're going to get through this. So she was very helpful with Mom, specifically when her siblings were at different ends of the house than Mom was. So she would help Mom out by going and grabbing her siblings by the foot or the scruff of the neck and dragging them across to the house to make sure that they were in the same vicinity where Mom was and be safe. The other thing was, she loved to pick them up and see how high they would bounce. As parents, we always watch our children to see what talents and interests they have. At one point, we thought perhaps she might go into medicine. More specifically, perhaps as an anatomical illustrator for medical documentation. So, while cleaning up their play area one day, I came across a bunch of hand-drawn pictures, the typical kid stick art stuff. And they must have been playing school or something. Like maybe a health class. So I looked at the pictures of hands, feet, ears, legs, just tracings of their hands. Eventually we got to some a little more interesting photos. There were some au naturel bums, pee-pees, and pay-pays. she didn't really become an anatomical illustrator, but anyway, it was just interesting. As a young girl, she had such a strong and independent character. I saw her as a girl that would never need a man. And if she did, it was going to be on her terms. And boy, was I wrong. There were only a couple of boys, but the relationships she did have were intense, teenage relationship stuff, and you all know what I mean. So Jeremy, lesson 2 is, she'll take care of you, even if it's taking you by the neck or feet and dragging you across the world, the house, or town. Once she's made a decision, she's committed completely. You're hers forever. And I know it took a couple of tries for her to come around, but now you're stuck with her. Sorry, you have somebody who's wholeheartedly committed to you. Okay, now I've watched both of you over the past couple of years, and I've seen how different you are individually, but working together, you guys get a lot done. You seem to be always on the move. Very different from our lifestyle, and perhaps, and we can learn a bit from you. I guess with age and time, we're a little sedentary, but anyway, it's amazing to watch how much you guys get done. Your travel, and you support each other's interests, side hustles, whatever it is. But as important as that is, it's important to take as much time to get to know each other over and over as the seasons of life go by. Life brings changes. Take the time to get to know and give space to the real Caitlyn and the real Jeremy. You may not know who that is really yourself yet. It takes time to figure that out. But don't let unrealistic expectations, assumptions, or preconceived ideas about love or each other individually in the world limit your life together. So, lesson 3 for both of you. Speaking from our experience, life together is not about the activity or the achievements or the busyness. It only gets better if you take the time to be open to who each other is and not who you expect your spouse to be. Watching you, Jeremy, it's obvious that you love my daughter. I see you as a man of high character and someone who is committed to his dream and works very hard. I saw it first on the day you showed up at one of Tyler's hockey tournaments. I think it was in St. Catharines or Niagara Falls. Seems like a long time ago. On that day, you spent it working yourself into the good graces of every parent on the hockey team. I think my parents were there, so you spent time with them. You also, I think, spent time talking to the girls selling hot dogs and the referees. By the end of the day, everybody was convinced that you should be Caitlyn's, or Caitlyn should be your girlfriend. And I think the only one you had still to convince was Caitlyn. So obviously things have worked out. And welcome to the family. Love you both.
Alrighty. Next we will hear from the groom's parents, the wonderful Kathy and Mark Hill.
Thank you, everybody, for coming today. It's a hard act to follow when I have my daughter, Sydney, giving a speech before me. On behalf of the Hill family, we'd like to thank all of you for joining us today to celebrate this big event. It's taken a very long time for Jeremy and Caitlyn to be able to finally find a time and place for us to gather for this event, as the pandemic has made things much more complicated. Caitlyn's creative talents has really made this event very special. From the gorgeous wedding invites to the handmade table centerpieces, handmade floral bouquets for the wedding party members, and the painting and decorating of the cornhole boards outside. Jeremy made double sure the donut board will be filled with all the right delicious donuts. A special welcome goes out to Matt and Amy, who came all across from Birmingham, England, to join us in this event. I'd like to thank Caitlyn's parents for being such a wonderful group to us, and they've shown so much care for Jeremy and Caitlyn, and I thank you for everything you've done for us.
So, as a few of the other speeches have alluded, Jeremy's got a bit of a heart of gold, just like his mom. One of the semesters from Brock, with his ultimate team, he sort of took over the management of the team, and they were coming up to Ottawa for a tournament. Okay, no big deal on that. And can I bring a few people up to stay at the house when I come up? Sure. How many are you talking about? The whole men's team. Okay, how many is that? Oh, about 20-some people. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we can manage that. So about a week before the tournament was supposed to happen, got another call from Jeremy. And he'd been sort of calling around and trying to make arrangements and wasn't having much luck. Do you think I could bring the whole women's team too? Okay, now how many are we talking about? 43. Okay, so I had to take the furniture apart in the dining room and move that up into the bedroom, and some of the furniture from the living room and put it up there so we have enough floor space for everybody to come and stay. So we hosted both the men's and the women's team for a weekend tournament. So my advice to you, Caitlyn, is when he calls and says, I'm bringing some friends over, you should really get him to clarify that so that you know how many people are coming. So I think we first met or heard about Caitlyn seriously was near the end of the first semester when they were at Brock. She'd made really quite an impression on Jeremy. As you know, he doesn't show his emotions very much. But when we were all skiing at Lake Placid, and I should have coordinated this with my daughter, Jeremy was sort of informed by Caitlyn that she didn't think she wanted to get into another long-term relationship because she'd just gotten out of one. That really crushed him, you could tell, but things turned out for the better. So fortunately, as Steve had mentioned, he'd already met her grandparents. And her grandmother seemed to take quite a liking to Jeremy and was putting in a good word whenever she could. So looks like those efforts paid off. So, Caitlyn, both Kathy and I would like to welcome you to the family and wish you both a wonderful life together.
We are going to do our final and most important speech. All the other ones were important, but the most important. Let's put our hands together for Caitlyn and Jeremy Hill.
Caitlyn and I want to thank you all very much for being here with us on our special day. Many months of planning went into each and every aspect, but it wouldn't be complete without you all. I'd like to thank my beautiful wife for all her work she put into making this day perfect. And Jody.
And Jody.
It's been about 2 years since I proposed to Caitlyn in the ceremony house behind us. We've been together for almost 9 years now, but today is the next step on our journey together as we embark on the rest of our lives as Mr. and Mrs. Hill. Each one of you have touched our lives in some way over the last 9 years, and it means the world to have your support. From all over Canada and even across the pond in the UK, we wanted to acknowledge and thank you all for taking this time to travel and be here today. None of this would be possible without the support of our parents. To Steve and Jody. Yeah, over there. Okay. Behind the camera. You opened up your home to me as a complete stranger only 2 months after I first laid eyes on your beautiful daughter. Your love and support with our relationship means everything to me. Since day one, you've always done everything you could to make me feel as comfortable as I could be. From buying extra ice cream when I was in town, or holding together mine and Caitlyn's relationship when I was away in England for school, I'm very grateful to have you as my second parents. To Jody and Steve. To Mom and Dad, ever since I was a young boy, you always supported me and pushed me to get the most out of life and strive towards my goals. Today, standing right beside me, I found everything I've ever wanted in my beautiful wife. We almost didn't get here, though. Let's just say school wasn't exactly my favorite thing to do, and I may have understudied for a test or two in exchange for a sports game. When it came to grade 12, I needed to up my grades to get into Brock, and you both didn't hesitate to get me the extra schooling I needed. Mom, you must have printed out 100 or more sheets of paper with every detail about the university or college options I had. I say we almost wouldn't be here jokingly, but in all seriousness, you two are the reason I got to meet and fall in love with Caitlyn, and I'll forever be thankful for that. I look back on those days as a perfect example of how lucky I am to have such loving and amazing parents. Thank you, and I love you.
Oh, okay. More tears are coming, just heads up. To Mom and Dad, there are no words for me to express how much I appreciate all that you've done for me and that you continue to do. I consider you both not only my parents, but my closest friends. You have always been there for me on my best and my worst days. Thank you for being the best example of what a marriage should look like. You have taught me the true meaning of love and commitment, and I hope that Jeremy and I will have a long, happy, and healthy marriage just like you. Thank you for teaching me that love is so much more than just a feeling. It's allowed us to build such a solid foundation for this marriage, and I'm so excited for this new chapter in our lives. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without the love and support that you've shown me throughout my life. I love you to the moon and back. And to Mark and Kathy, thank you for raising this man to be the most kind and patient and generous person I've ever met. He truly is a reflection of both of you, and I love him more than words can say. I'm so honored that you've welcomed me into your beautiful family, and I appreciate everything that you've done for us leading up to today. I know that we will always have your unconditional love and support through this marriage, and it means the world to us. Yeah. All right. We hope you've all enjoyed your meal this evening. We'd like to thank Stonefields for their amazing hospitality. We've got a couple dances coming up, and then the photo booth and dance floor will be open. Our late night snack will also be out around 10:30, so stay tuned. And once again, Jeremy and I just want to thank you all for being here today. We couldn't be more delighted to share in it with all of you, and we wish you enjoy the rest of the night.